And welcome into the locker room. Mark Packer with the night off, and really happy to be joined by my good friend, former Tennessee running back and former Tennessee running backs coach, Jay Graham. Jay, we've joked about doing podcasts and stuff for years, and here we are. We finally get to do a little TV together tonight.
Got a little TV debut, so it's good stuff.
TV debut for you, and over here with the media megastar, even though he downplays that. Jason Swain. Jason, Tennessee 56-0. Bigger surprise for you: Tennessee ran for 350 plus yards, or Tennessee didn't allow a point?
Probably the fact that Tennessee did not allow a point, considering what happened the week before. Defense played with pride. They played with effort. I thought Vanderbilt was very conservative. Mike Wright really didn't run the football.
And he couldn't throw it more than 10 yards down the field.
No, he couldn't throw it at all, man.
Yeah.
He looked like the quarterback from the All-American episode on Netflix. He didn't throw it. He didn't throw it at all, but he can run it, and he was successful against Kentucky. They didn't run him yesterday for some reason, but Tennessee's defense was all over the place, and Joe had some big-time throws on the outside that were a little bit too long, but they gave an opportunity for guys like Jalen Wright and Jabari Small and Dylan Sampson to get out there on the perimeter and open space and show their speed off and show their skill.
We'll talk more about Joe Milton here in a second, but Jay, you look at that Tennessee running game, the kind of the triumvirate with Dylan Sampson and Jalen Wright and Jabari Small, as Jason just talked about. 5 carries, 160 yards for Jalen Wright. Dylan Sampson goes over 100 yards, and then Jabari Small just kind of does what he does. A couple of touchdown runs, a big 52-yarder there in the second half. What impressed you about that group?
Biggest thing is making safeties and linebackers miss on the second and third level. And that's the key to having explosive plays, and to have 4 runs over 50 yards. That's big time. That's big time right there.
Don't happen a whole lot.
You don't see that in many games, especially in the SEC game.
Yeah, and there were several 20-yard runs there as well. Sure. Second half, offensive line had revolving door a little bit. You had Jerome Carvin really didn't play the second half. Ollie Lane comes in. Dane Davis ends up coming in at left tackle. But the offensive line seemed like they kind of, got some things going there in the second half. What did you see?
Biggest thing is they captured the line of scrimmage. Moving those guys off the line of scrimmage allowed the running back to see the cutbacks and everything else. So offensive line did a great job.
Hey, any running back can run through an open hole, right? But the special ones make guys miss in space. Mm-hmm. And the special ones have the speed to take it to the distance. And that's what all 3 of our guys did all night long. So it was a special day running the football for Tennessee. Defensively,
you talked about the pride. Tennessee able to get off the field, force Vanderbilt to turn it over on downs 4 times. Wesley Walker, that play right there, and Brent Hubbs said it, texted us during the broadcast on our VolQuest group text. That's a play that Tennessee safeties have not made in a while, to come up and be instinctive like that. Jeremy Banks missed a couple of picks yesterday. I thought he had a chance to. I thought that would have been pretty special for him if he had been able to pick one off and take one back to the house. But this is a Tennessee defense that was able to get pressure, and I love some of their younger players. That's Roman Harrison, but specifically Tyree West. He had 2 sacks there in the second half. They've got some real players that I think can step forward and be real playmakers sooner rather than later. Maybe the bowl game, if not into next year.
Well, getting pressure on the quarterback was a key for this defense last night because of
has been all year, really.
Yeah, for sure. And when Tennessee has been able to get pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, you've had some success. Now, Banks he's had to send a lot of pressure from the linebacker position, but that only made the secondary vulnerable. Didn't have to do much of that last night, and I think that was key.
You look at Joe Milton. He starts like 6 of 9 for over 100 yards. Ends 11 of 21 or whatever he was for like 150-something yards. It seemed like the second half, it was just kind of like 70-yard shot, 70-yard shot, 70-yard shot. There was no intermediate stuff. I think going into a bowl game, whether it's against Clemson in an Orange Bowl or whoever, Tennessee's got to work the middle of the field, because I think that's some of the better throws that Joe makes are those slants and post patterns. Agreed?
I agree. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say he had a nice 4th down throw to Ramel Keaton.
Yeah.
Looks like it was a dig route across the middle. I mean, took a lot off of it. The accuracy was on point.
Another thing I like was, he's hitting the checkdowns. He didn't just go for the deep throw. He hit the checkdowns on the sideline to the running backs and receivers. So did a good job of just seeing the whole field.
Yeah, this is the first time all year that we've seen Joe have to play with a little bit of pressure on him. Every other game he's been in has been kind of mop up duty, blowout time. But no turnovers, no balls in harm's way. I think there was one ball into the first half where he kind of threw across his body to Princeton Fant, and that one kind of Vanderbilt defender got his hands on it. But other than that, was really clean as far as not putting the ball in harm's way, which is something that was big for Hendon.
That's the most important thing. That's the job of the quarterback, is to protect the football first. Of course, he had some throws he would want back, but he executed the game plan number one. That's protecting the football. The running game was on point, and it allowed him to not have to feel like he needed to make every single throw to be successful. And kudos to the offensive line. He had a lot of guys go down, like you mentioned, but we saw other players step up and go in there and move the line of scrimmage and allow Tennessee to be successful running the football.
You recruited some of these players. You know them. To see Tennessee at 10 wins, first time since 2003, how much pride does that give you as former coach / former player?
A lot of pride. Just look at where they've come from. Just the hard work and effort from the coaching staff and the players. Going through so much adversity over the last couple of years, and to come together as a team and play the way they played throughout the season. And you look at it from how they played against South Carolina and what happened losing Hendon, to showing this team effort and showing how they can play and go beyond that through all that adversity was something that's special to watch as VFL.
Your mind is like blown when you think about, like 2 years ago, 30-plus players left the program. 30 players left the program. Heupel comes in and in 2 years has his team at 10 regular season wins with a chance to go to a New Year's Six bowl game. Like, that's unreal. And the credit goes to the players, first and foremost, for buying in, locking in with each other, loving each other, working hard, and this coaching staff for putting these guys in position to be successful. But the 2-year turnaround is really remarkable.
It is. I totally agree. When you look at kind of what they've been able to get accomplished in short order, really, really impressive. I tell you what, let's bring in Tennessee running back Jalen Wright. Jalen, 5 carries, 160 yards. Were you kind of in that zone last night? I know it's easy to say yes, but what specifically were you seeing as you were popping off those big runs?
I just saw, just outside the whole line, just creating movement up the field, and I just saw a team hit it.
Well, specifically the offensive line, what were they doing well last night for you, Jabari, for Dylan, in the running game?
They did really well in sustaining their blocks, and they did really well in working up to the linebackers to get us our reads. And I feel like the running backs did really well in staying on our tracks and pressing COC to deliver those blocks to the linebackers.
All right, when we come back, Food City Players Perspective, Jason Swain slides over, and he'll interview the Durham, North Carolina native when we come back.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Iris Networks, Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, and Exterior Home Solutions.
When it comes to the game of football, teamwork is critical for success. When it comes to customer service and business, that team approach is just as critical. That's why we're such believers in our friends at Exterior Home Solutions. We have seen firsthand how Exterior Home Solutions has supported our community and treats their customers just like family. So when it comes to roofing, siding, or maybe a complete overhaul, please make Exterior Home Solutions your first and only call.
Football is back, and OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense. Call OEB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
Blue 2020 F-150 41990. Hut! Jake drops back. He's got a deal wide open. The crowd goes wild. With savings, whether you're looking for a low-mileage pre-owned truck to tailgate in or a minivan to get the whole family to the game, the Pre-Owned Patrol has what you're looking for. Only at Ted Russell Ford on Kingston Pike or Parkside Drive.
Hey, this is UT head football coach Josh Heupel. It's football time in Tennessee. When the Big Orange play, you don't have to miss a second of the action. Before, during, and after the game, just make sure your radios are tuned in to 107.7 WIVK. Or if you're on the go, download the WIVK app and listen anywhere. Your flagship station for the Tennessee Volunteers. 107.7 WIBK. It's a Tennessee tradition.
Do you want top-of-the-line fitness equipment for home, school, or work? New or reconditioned, Dynabody in Maryville has everything you need to build that gym. Used equipment brands include Paramount, Life Fitness, Nautilus, Hammer Strength, and Precor. Reach for the power with Dynabody.
Food City's players' perspective now. Jay, you recruited Jalen Wright to Tennessee. What did you see out of him coming out of high school?
The first thing you saw was unbelievable speed. He was second in the country in the 60 meters. And that kind of speed, he was a former Durham Strider, which my dad was a part of the Durham Striders. I was a part of the Durham Striders. So I knew he had the speed, but also he had the work ethic and desire. So that's the key. It's like after that athletic ability, what else do you have? And that's the thing that I noticed the most was unbelievable work ethic. During COVID, everything, he was working hard out there on the field and preparing himself for the next year.
All right, Jason, you're with the former Durham Strider. Didn't even know what that was until Jay just started breaking it down. Now we do.
When you hear a coach that's played at this level, the high level, played in the NFL, coaching the SEC, multiple schools, and he's giving you that type of accolades and type of credit, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something good, and makes me feel like I'm on the way. But you know, I still got a lot to work for, and still got to keep persevering.
Jay mentioned the speed. I was on the sideline last night on the 83-yard touchdown, and it was like watching Flash go by. Was that the fastest you felt like you ran in a game at the University of Tennessee?
Yes. I feel like that was the fastest because that was really like my only opportunity I've had open up and showcase my speed. So yeah, I feel like
That was a heck of a run. Last bowl game, I remember I was there, and very heartbreaking ending to that game. Trying to get into the end zone, was a couple inches short. You took it hard, man. It was tears going down your face, and that means that you care. How much did you use that as a motivation for you in the off season and this season to make sure that you don't have that feeling again at the postseason?
That just motivated me to just elevate my game. The aspect physically and mentally. It helped me like make sure that I could get stronger, break more tackles, and it changed like the perspective like the whole our whole team. Like we didn't want to feel that we didn't want to feel that feeling again. So it just made us just want to go out there and just ball out like we did this year.
What was it like on the sideline with the running back group? You guys had all the touchdowns. Early in the season, we've seen all the receivers hog all the touchdowns. That wasn't the case last night. It was about the running backs. What was that scene like on the sideline for you guys last night? Yeah, we was happy. We was really everybody was proud of everybody that got touches and did something with the ball. So I'm really proud of the whole group. It started from practice last week. We had it was probably our best practice of running the ball and following our responsibilities, focus on little things, and they translated to the game. What was it like having Hendon on the sideline with you guys? He got hurt last week, and that's always tough to see. But what did that mean for the team, the offense, you seeing Hendon on the sideline?
Just seeing him on the sideline, that just really motivates the whole team. We're doing this for 5. That's what we want to do it for, because just seeing something like that happen to it's not good to happen to anybody, but especially a great person that he is. It's just hard seeing that.
Bowl season is here. Is there a team or is there a bowl that you're looking forward to possibly playing, or a destination you want to go to?
I would like to go somewhere, like Dallas or Florida somewhere. That's just places I ain't never really been before. But we ready for anybody. So, feel me? We can go ball out anywhere we at.
How many text messages did you have on your phone when you checked your phone after the game?
I had a lot. I had a lot of notifications and text messages, but it's something that I've been expected and I've been waiting on to happen. So I'm ready for whatever comes with it.
Personal goals. What were some of those coming into the season? You had a nagging injury that kind of set you back a little bit. Didn't start the season the way you wanted to. What were some of your personal goals before the season, and how have you been able to achieve some of those or reach towards those during the season?
Some of my personal goals was, to elevate my game, knowledge of football. That's what I worked on, like, a lot of off-season, like, watching a lot of film and working out, like, physically. I just want to be able to, like, reach 1,000 yards. That was one of my goals this season, and I feel like that's very, like, achievable, like, throughout this last game. So, yeah, that's one of, like, my biggest goals this year.
How much did you guys see on film that you would be able to run the football on Saturday? Or was it a situation where in game you said, okay, guys, we can run the football against these guys? So was it a film study or was it a adjustment during the game that allowed you guys to have so much success running the football?
It was definitely a film study. Throughout the whole week, we saw like other teams, breaking big runs on them, and we know like if we just focus on like little things like pressing the center, like delivering our box to the linebackers, it would be like very like big creases so we could hit it like we did yesterday.
All right, give us a score on D. Williams' touchdown celebration, and when will we see your next touchdown celebration?
I give him a 10, a 10 plus. That was a very great celebration. I know it faked a lot of people out, him pulling his hamstring. But nah, that was very creative. And yeah.
You're not a big celebration guy?
I am, but I just let it come to me when I score.
I like it. I like it. Jalen Wright had a huge day against Vanderbilt. Very, very fast, like Jay Graham saw on those recruiting tapes.
Well, Jalen's recruiting or his touchdown celebrations mirror this guy against Alabama in 95 and 96. A little bit of talking, give the ball back to the referee, and be done. None of the what was it? The gritty? What dance is that? I'm old. Jalen, what's the dance?
It's the gritty.
Gritty. See, I'm not so old, baby. Boom. How about that? Just be 40 coming up in April. We'll return. Before we return, let's talk about the Volunteer Club. It's your chance to support the Big Orange with Spire Sports and the Volunteer Club. For more information, go to volunteerclub.com. A chance to impact Tennessee's athletes, both on the men's and women's side. We'll be right back.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Commercial Bank, Humana, E2 Sports, and OEB Law. The Locker Room is brought to you in part by Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, the exclusive orthopedic provider for University of Tennessee athletics for over 70 years.
This is the story of John Smith. Not this John Smith, or this John Smith, or any of the other hundreds of John Smiths that are Humana Medicare Advantage members. No, it's this John Smith, who we paired with a Humana team member to help address his own specific health needs. At Humana, we take a personal approach to your health to provide care that's just as unique as you are, no matter what your name is.
Behind every Food City meat and seafood counter is a highly trained, certified butcher. Our butchers offer special orders, custom cuts, and even entire meal recommendations. In fact, you'll be so impressed with our butchers, you'll be asking yourself, what can't they do?
Huh, I bet he'd be great at wrapping presents.
Okay, well, maybe not that. But at Food City, our butchers make almost everything better.
D1 training is not only for the athlete who wants to perform at their best. D1 offers adult training programs because we believe everybody needs training. With a specialized facility, targeted workouts, and professional trainers, D1 training has been in business 20 years strong. We'll give you everything you need to succeed. All you have to do is show up. Join us, D1 Hardin Valley or D1 Sevier County.
D1 Sports Training, the place for the athlete.
Humana's inside the huddle, and we're just going to recap the guy we just talked to, and that being Jalen Wright. 160 yards, 5 carries. Did you ever have a game like that? I'm sure you did in high school, but in college where you had this ridiculous yards per carry number?
Nah, I was 5 yards in the cloud of dust usually.
Except for Alabama, where you were streaking down the sidelines.
But most of my runs were 5 yards. So, when you're in that eye, it's 9 in the box, you don't get that.
Didn't you have a big one against Ohio State in the Citrus Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Draw.
did.
That was a draw. I was trying to get Coach Cutcliffe to run that thing again. That was a good play.
We'll take 5 yards all day long. That's half a first down. That's a great yards per carry right there.
But it's almost like one of those dream games, right? It's kind of like Jaylen. I mean, it's not as extreme as the 5 touchdowns against Alabama for Jaylen Hyatt, but when you 5 carries, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns, that's pretty much a dream type scenario.
Yeah, we saw how potent this offense can be with the alignment because you have the receivers out there on the sidelines, and you have to declare if you're a defensive player. You're going to play in the box or you're going to play the receivers. And the numbers suggest run the football, and, man, it was open. And you have guys who are as fast as Jalen Wright, man, it's the difference between hitting 20-yard runs, 30-yard runs, and hitting home runs straight to the house, and that's what happened last night.
All right, let's talk about Tennessee's potential bowl destinations. LSU's loss to Texas A&M opened the door massively for Tennessee to potentially end up in the Orange Bowl. Sugar Bowl, not off the table if Alabama slipped in the backside of the college football playoff, but more than likely Tennessee going to be in Miami. I don't think they can fall to Dallas at this point because they're going to be, I'd say, 7 coming up in the CFP on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great, I think, destination for Tennessee because you'll be matched up against an ACC team.
Clemson.
That's who I want.
Let me tell you, I just kind of envision this thing playing out. If Tennessee can win, and remember the Titans where, Coach Herman Boone tosses the banana to the coach after he made those comments. Hype, tossing the hamburger to Dabo after the game.
Yeah, that'll be great. That's who I want. I mean, I want to play a team that, when you look at brand names, right there with Tennessee. I know going to Dallas, you'll probably be facing Tulane or Central Florida. I'd rather go against Clemson.
100%. As a former coach, how much easier is it to get players up to play Clemson versus playing a group of 5 in this type of game? Because that group of 5 has nothing to lose.
True. It's way easier. I mean, you're getting ready for a program that's won championships, played at a high level, so guys are motivated to play against Clemson.
When you look at what Tennessee's gotten accomplished this year, obviously everybody's going to harp on the South Carolina loss. But if you said before the season 10-2, most people would have said, okay, you lose to Alabama, but you beat South Carolina, you're 10-2, everybody's happy. But the way it played out, people just are having trouble getting over that South Carolina loss. As a former player / coach, what's your message to them?
Just, that's a snapshot what happened that night. And you look at the whole season and when you go through the season, beating Florida, beating Alabama,
LSU.
Beating LSU and playing the way they played this year, being so explosive on offense, and you see the development on defense. We're getting to we're a true program, and we're upper echelon program. So I mean, you got to be excited about that. And like you said before, 10-2. I mean, that's special right there, and you're gonna play in a New York Six Bowl.
The loss was disappointing. Don't get me wrong. To see South Carolina play the way they played before playing Tennessee, and to have that performance, I mean, disappointing. You should be disappointed. The coaches are disappointed. The players were, but they were able to forget it. And you heard Jaylen right earlier said they had the best week of practice running the football, so they were locked in and focused on taking care of business in the next game. And to think that 30 guys transferred, all the changes, and for this team to win 10 games in the regular season, also this, there was like a 4-year project here to get to this point. This team, I felt like knocked 2 years off the rebuild. And it surprised a lot of people, and it gave people a little taste of Tennessee, back when Tennessee was winning basically every game and playing for a championship. And people failed to realize this roster is still not equipped to do that. Like, there was a lot of masking that was going on from his coaching staff. And a big reason why is because of Henry Hooker and the explosive plays.
Tennessee ahead of schedule. They've got to continue on that path, though. We'll talk more about it, bowl practice, and more about the transfer portal and so on and so forth with these guys when we come back.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Pilot Company, Ted Russell Ford, Food City, and Lincoln Memorial University.
Community banking is about location and much more. It's about family. We reside in your community. We are a part of your community. At Commercial Bank, our commitment extends beyond the walls of our branches. It's displayed each day in the opportunities we provide, the money we give back, and the time we commit, all to help improve the lives of the people, families, and businesses that make our communities great. Commercial Bank, life made better.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Costa. Dr. Malone and I here at Knoxville Smiles are here to help you with any of your dental needs, whether it's a routine cleaning, a root canal, or if you just want some advice. Did you know that you don't have to settle for a denture anymore? My team and Dr. Malone are here to help you no matter where you're at and to help you figure out the truth for your dental health. So give us a call or visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Matlock Tire has a reputation for being a little bit old school. We're proud to be known for our outstanding hometown customer service. We've been doing things that way for over 60 years. But Matlock now offers new modern conveniences, such as family-friendly waiting areas, online appointment scheduling. You can even shop for tires and see our current stock right from your computer or smartphone. We invite you to stop into one of our 5 convenient locations or come see us online at matlocktireservice.com. Modern convenience, hometown service. Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair.
I chose LMU because I wanted doors to open for me. For my future to have endless possibilities. To know I could become anything I wanted to be. Objection, Your Honor. I always wanted to say that. So whether I wanted to be a veterinarian, a high school teacher, let's turn to page 32, or a successful dentist, I knew LMU would help me get there. All I had to do was open the door.
Don't forget Lunch with the Vols. We'll announce that winner next week. Register to win at HillaryFrostHomes.com. We'll announce that next week on the show, Lunch with 3 Vols. Guys, we've got a couple of minutes left. Aren't you glad you don't have to deal with NIL and the transfer portal?
Whew, it's tough now. I am glad because you're dealing with trying to keep your guys as well as gain some guys. So that's a different type of thing.
Yeah, trying to hold on to them, that's a challenge. And then trying to reel some in. And if you don't know kind of ahead of time, which that's tampering, everybody's going to yell. If you don't know ahead of time, you're almost behind with those portal kids. Biggest needs in the portal are what?
I mean, you got to look at defensive line, edge rusher. You got to look at some guys who can cover one-on-one in the back end. Need some more depth at linebacker.
Tight end.
Running back for sure. Tight end. I mean, there's a lot of needs you got to address, and I think Tennessee can be able to do that because Tennessee has built a very attractive culture, and I think offensively and defensively, there's plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. I think tight end will be key for Tennessee. I think they'll look to try to add definitely 1, probably 2 at tight end. I also think Tennessee will look to, add best available at certain positions. If there is a certain stud tailback, I think they'd look to add a body or to add that kind of player. I don't think they'll just add a body to add a body. You need quality, or you need quantity over quality.
You're right. And you got to build depth, and you got to have the right type of young men, that can get in your program and help your culture. You already got a great culture, so it's always important to get the right type of young man.
15 seconds.
I agree 100%. I mean, 10 wins regular season, can't go backwards. Got to take steps forward.
Yep, Tennessee's going to take steps forward. We'll take steps forward. Tennessee 10-2 for the first time since 2003. Mark Packer will be back next week where we'll announce Lunch with the Vols. See you next week, everybody.